Hey guys, this is Brian Harvey from PronouncedK9.com. I was reading this morning an email from the USCA President, Jim Alloway, about the WUSV potential rule change about not being able to use the e-collar or prong collar. And that's something that's been being talked about for a long time. That goes way back to the conversations that the old timers used to tell us eventually what was going to happen to the sport is that you wouldn't even be able to really train a dog. And it seems like with this conversation that's we're on the verge of that maybe happening. And for those of you that don't know, I've been around the dog sport for a long time. I started in 1980 and I've been active that whole time. I've never stepped away from the sport or not been doing it. I've been doing it on a weekly basis for that entire time. And so I have a unique perspective, different than a lot of people today. I'm in a small minority of people that have been around that long, who've actually seen all the changes and all the things that I've seen. And the sport is so different today than it was when I started, that I just kind of have a question for the people that are out there that do the sport today is, how did we get to where we are? How did the mentality of the people that do the sport change from what it was in 1980 when I started till today? It is such a drastic change of the mindset of people that it's kind of hard to relate sometimes. When I look at what it was then to what it is now, it's just been a huge change. And I see all these things that happen in training now. And don't get me wrong, we've made a lot of improvements. A lot of the training is much better. The performances of the dogs, I mean, you see some crazy good performances now. But the overall mindset of the people that do the sport isn't as true, I don't think, as it was when I started. In the beginning, when I started doing this, it was about a protection dog. It was about a dog that could do police work. It was about breeding and producing dogs that could serve in the military. Those were the concerns of everyone that was doing it. When we looked at a dog, that's the first thing that we looked at, was, does he have those qualities? Does he have those abilities? And in order to determine if he did or not, there had to be some kind of adversity in the test. And that trickled down into everyone's training. So that we spent a lot of time preparing our dog for a stick hit that was going to hurt. That was kind of the whole point of having the real stick at the time, and that was how we tested the courage and the hardness of the dog. It was a real test that had real consequences. There was real adversity to it. It could be painful for the dog. That was the point. It was which dogs can do it, which dogs can withstand this test, and that was the point of the test, is to separate the two different types of dogs. Now, with all of our advanced training methods, we've got to the point that we don't test the dogs in that fashion no more. One thing, we don't have a real stick, we have a padded stick, and we're not as concerned about that hurting the dog. And we have dogs that are more prey driven and not as naturally defensive of themselves, their handlers, their surroundings. For the most part, we have a lot of real friendly dogs that have a whole lot of drive, but they don't have the original German Shepherd qualities. I think this comes from the type of training that goes on today, that everybody is into the break it down to the littlest, bittiest detail, do it in a way where he really doesn't know that he's in any kind of harm, train him train him in such a way that he doesn't know there's a threat. It's a big game and it's all fun and games, and then we reward the dog that views it that way. And the more that happens, the more the mentality gets away from the original design of the whole thing, the original spirit of the whole thing. And so, from someone who's seen this all happen, I don't understand the draw to a lot of the things that people are doing today. Helpers petting the dogs and giving them commands, rewarding them with the kind of praise that ought to come from the handler. I'm all about rewarding a dog for biting and doing the right things, but it needs to come in the kind of praise that would come from an opponent. So he needs to win and find a victory through making power. And I believe in the principles of promoting it and praising it, but it has to be done in a natural way, with handler praise coming from a handler, and then helper actions coming from the helper. This is the way we've done it in the past for years, and it works, and it produces good dogs. And today those roles are getting mixed up, that we have helpers who praise the dogs, who give the dogs obedience commands in the blinds. We have handlers who work their own dogs and have a third person play the handler. We got guys throwing stuff out of the blind over the dog's head. That takes away from the whole point of the exercise, is that the dog wants to bite the guy, and then he shows that he's not gonna until the time is right, that he has enough self-control to not bite him. When you change the exercise and you turn it into something that he's not even thinking about biting the guy, he's thinking about retrieving something that's being thrown over the top of his head, what's the point? I don't get it. I don't see the draw to that. Why not stay with real things that are based in the way nature works? If he's your dog, he's on your side. You shouldn't be fighting with him. You should be part of his team, and you should be fighting other people, and it should be a fight. You know, all this stuff about, oh, you know, my dog's favorite person in the world is the helper. He just loves his helper. And I come from a time when we said, man, you know, I like this dog. He hates me. I'm the helper. He hates me. He can't stand me, you know. And that was a quality that we liked in the dog. It's flipped. And this has always happened from the time I've been into it. It would swing this way, and it would go toward points and precision, and then we would lose power, and then it would swing back the other way and go toward aggressive barking and powerful dogs, and they would give up a little bit of obedience, and then it would swing back the other way. Well, the swings quit swinging. It's stuck over here. It stayed over here so far that the sport is out of balance, and it's turning into something that it was not meant to be. And for all you people that believe I'm wrong and don't know what I'm talking about, I would like for you to try to explain the attraction to me of training in an unnatural way, in an artificial way. For what? Points? I mean, if it's all about points, then we've lost our way. Doesn't matter what the WUSV says. So that's just the view from someone who's been around for a long time, and as always, thanks for watching.